All right, let's talk about ceremonies. Typically, your ceremony itself is going to be in a completely different spot than your reception itself, which is going to require your DJ to set up a completely different ceremony setup. In Texas, it's not uncommon for your ceremony to be outside while your reception's inside, or just in two completely different rooms. Perfectly fine. Your DJ should be able to set that up for you. As far as your formalities for your ceremony, I would keep things super simple. I personally like when there's a song for the processional and a song for the bride. You're always going to want a separate song for the bride because you want the big wow moment. As soon as you walk in, there's a different song, everyone's standing up. It's completely changing that atmosphere once again. As far as music, we're going to want the exact same increasing intensity throughout the day that we talked about before. We want to create the atmosphere for the ceremony, and then that will lead us in the cocktail. So for the formalities going into the ceremony, it's all going to depend on how big your bridal party is. If parents and grandparents are going to walk down the aisle, if the groom wants to walk down to his own song, if the groom and the groomsmen want to walk down to their own song. So you're going to figure out what order things are going to happen. I'm going to walk you through a couple of different scenarios I've seen work really well. It doesn't mean that that's all the scenarios that exist. It is your wedding. You can do your processional however you want to do your processional. But this kind of just gives you a little bit of an idea of what works and what doesn't work. So, scenario number one. Your officiant comes in to whatever pre-ceremony music's already playing. We as DJs lower that music and allow the officiant to go ahead and say a few words. He'll basically ask everyone to silence their phone, let them know that there's professional photographers and videographers, and thank everybody for coming. At that point, we start a processional song for parents and grandparents. I think it's grandparents first, parents next. And then for your groom to come in. Your groom can come in with all his groomsmen, or he can come in by himself. And then the groomsmen can come in behind him. Then I've seen the bridesmaids all come in. All this to one processional song. This works really well if you've got a small bridal party. If you've got a larger bridal party, you might want to consider separating the songs from parents and grandparents, and then a separate song for the bridal party itself. Again, completely just depends how big that bridal party is. Obviously, after everyone has gone through, the flower girls have gone through, we then completely switch over the song to whatever the bride's coming into. She comes down the aisle. The officiant or me gets on the microphone and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, please stand up." And everyone stands up, looks back, and there's that wow factor. Another scenario I've seen work really well is the groom can walk in with the officiant, and then all the groomsmen and bridesmaids walk in together. Another scenario I've seen work really well is you've got the officiant and the groom walk in together. The groomsmen follow, the bridesmaids follow. You get the idea. It's all the same kind of order. It just depends how big your processional is. What I wouldn't do is make a separate song for the parents, then a separate song for the groomsmen, then a separate song for the bridesmaids, then a separate song just for you, if you've got a small party. If you've got a large party, that works great. I see all the time brides overcomplicate this. And really what happens is they either pick out a song that's way too short or a song that's way too long for the processional, and they don't really know how long it's going to take for every single person in the bridal party to get through. If you know your song's way too long, that's the easiest part. Your DJ can typically just fade out and bring in the next song, cue in the exact moment you want to be walking down the aisle to, and ladies and gentlemen, please stand up. If your song is way too short, talk to your DJ ahead of time. Let them know, hey, I think this song is going to be way too short. Let them go on the software and extend that song. Maybe they can repeat the chorus or the chorus and the bridge. If there's no key changes, they can make it sound really well, extend the song just enough to where we can get everyone down the aisle before we switch our songs. So once you're in front of the officiant and he starts talking, typically that's when I go ahead and start fading out the music. I had that conversation with your officiant ahead of time that he is my cue to turn the music down. So let your DJ know if there's going to be anything that's going to be needed during the ceremony itself. If there's going to be any scripture reading and you're going to need to have another wireless mic on a stand, if there's going to be any kind of stance ceremony or cross ceremony or hand fasting ceremony that's going to need some kind of background music for, that's when you coordinate with your DJ for that. But typically, let's say that there's not. Let's just say the ceremony's all just the vows, the I do's, and all that. Your officiant should be mic'd, and sometimes the groom's mic'd, and it will pick up y'all's vows back and forth to one another. Now we're almost done. You're going to have your officiant step out before he introduces you as husband and wife, so you guys can get the shot. Now every photographer is going to tell you to do the exact same thing. You're going to tell the officiant, we're going to tell the officiant, we're going to make sure everyone tells them, but sometimes they forget, and it is what it is. So just remind them over and over and over, they need to step out of that shot. Otherwise, you guys are kissing while your officiant's looking right at you, and it's very awkward. So this is where we're transitioning from the ceremony to cocktail hour, where we're going from this very classical moment to this moment of people are getting drinks and having fun and talking to one another and getting to know one another, because it's two completely different sides of the family, and seeing people they haven't seen in a long time. So this is a transitional song that's bringing us from one atmosphere to another. So as soon as you guys have kissed, your officiant then is going to introduce you guys. As he's introducing you guys, we're going to start playing that recessional song at a low volume. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you Mr. and Mrs. Insert your name here. And this is where we're going to go in with the chorus, the drop, whatever part of the song that's the most exciting part of the song that you guys are going to walk out to. You guys are going to walk out to it, the bridal party's going to walk out to it, and then the officiant's going to say something along the lines of, ladies and gentlemen, the family's going to be taking some pictures. You guys are all invited to cocktail hour, yada, 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 over there, across the bridge, inside the building, wherever it may be. The officiant should make that announcement. If the officiant doesn't want to make the announcement, DJs, we are welcome to get on the microphone and say, hey, ladies and gentlemen, you guys are welcome to go into the cocktail hour. We're going to be having it over here. That's it. That's your ceremony in a heartbeat. So if you liked what you saw, like and follow for more wedding tips. We're going to go into cocktail hours and reception, and again, increasing that intensity all the way up to the dance floor and the rest of the formalities you have for the rest of the night. I'm Bernardo the DJ with Wave Source Media. Peace out.